It's primary night in Texas. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you feeling?
Well, it's interesting. I actually was talking with a fellow strategist earlier today, and people were like, what do you think about the Trump endorsement? And I'm not sure it really mattered. I mean, you look at all the polling going into tonight, like the runoff, like Cornyn peaked on primary night. And now the electorate is on the Republican side skews, more MAGA, and they're more conservative and more like if somebody wants to show up and vote in a runoff, you got to really want to show up.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be the mod squishy Republicans that show up in a general election. So this always kind of benefited Paxton. And I think Trump just kind of wanted to take credit for what was probably eventually a win anyway.
Remember how I said it was the kingmaker role?
He's a bandwagon fan. It's like saying, like, hey, you know who I really like right now? I'm really a big fan of
the New York Knickerbockers.
Exactly. Bandwagon fan.
I of course have to say it like an old timey person.
Yes, because that is your spirit animal is,
I'm like in a corner over here. I'm like, no one puts baby in a corner.
And here
except
she
they
is
do.
in the corner.
So the other thing I hate about nights like this, actually this specific election, is as a political hack myself, I'm always telling my clients, you must spend more money. You must spend more money. How are you going to get by without spending the most money? And this is an example, assuming Paxton pulls it out, in which I guess money wasn't doing it.
But the good news is for Paxton, now that he's at the top of the ticket here, he does have this, that he is going to have
He's
this.
going to have to spend more money.
This is the most expensive, one of the most expensive states in the country. 20 media markets to saturate this state because, this is a hard state to run and win it.
Well, and my 2 cents, feel free to disagree. But Connor would know better than me. But, Paxton's got a lot of baggage. Everybody gets it. Paxton's not going to win this by appealing to our better angels. He's going to win this.
That's for damn sure.
He's going to win this by tearing down Talarico and defining him as this woke radical.
That's interesting you say that because before you joined us, we were joined by the Raging Cajun, James Carville, and we asked him, what do you need to do? What do Democrats need to do to have an actual chance at winning this race? And he said, right now, tonight,
first 48 hours,
Talarico's got to just punch him in the face, basically.
And then the Democrat Party chair came in and said, but where are they going to get in the mud with Paxton or like the genteel, James Talarico? And I'm like, it's going to be a mud fight. It's going to be a hardcore elbows.
If you were on the Talarico campaign,
ooh, fun game,
what would you be telling the candidate to do tonight as a general election bell just rang?
First thing is, I don't think the broader electorate has a deep impression of who Talarico is. Just rule of thumb is the candidate, they have to define themselves first. So that means Talarico's got to spin. He's got to tell his story because the Republicans and Paxton are going to tell their story about it. So you got to form voters' impressions about Talarico immediately. He had time to do that in a primary, but not in the same ways he does after night. So he's got to do that. And then he's also got to frame this race. He's got to tell voters what is at stake. And he's got to reinforce the negative of which people know about Paxton. So he's got to do both things. It's going to require a ton of money. Oh, did I say a lot of money? It's going to require a lot of money.
We've already seen this as the most expensive primary. We're probably going to be looking at the most expensive general as well. I mean, if you're going to be a prediction man on this one, how much are you taking? Yeah, because what we're looking at already like 130 million right now ish.
In the primary. I mean, I would think at least another 200.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get in the neighborhood of like 400.
You're not going to have a time on television where any candidate is dark from now to November. I mean, that is so deeply expensive. Yeah, it's the amount of money and as much as people will say, oh, the consultants want the money, it's actually what you have to.
No, you have to. And that's, I mean, you appreciate this. And I like telling the audience this a lot too, is that it is a business, it is an industry, but because it's not just about putting the ad on the air, it's about making sure the ad's in the correct market at the correct weight, that it's being seen enough that the message can resonate. And then you got to change out your traffic again, right? You got to change out your creative to deliver another message or reinforce your message. And so like, there's an art to not just like, oh, that's a good looking ad. Let's chuck that up in Dallas and call that a day.
Totally right. Yeah, there's an art to placement. There's placement within the ad pods themselves. But I always like to, we're political junkies. people in the betting markets are political junkies.
Yeah.
The average voters have a lot of other things to do that have nothing to do with the Paxton Talarico runoff. So you got to drill it through their skull.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to spend so much that they can repeat your core message or your tagline over and over. And you have to assume that most of the time people aren't even paying attention to your ads. I always like to say on my phone today, I've probably been exposed to a few hundred ads.
Yeah.
I can't recall one ad.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing hundreds of ads. That means that the advertisers have to put that same ad in front of me dozens upon dozens upon dozens of times.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to all the organic traffic and all of that, it just requires a ton of money.
Remember your favorite ad in Virginia?
Oh, I am speaking.
Oh yeah.
The ones. So if you guys didn't watch the Virginia gubernatorial race, there was a clip of Winsome Sears who was the lieutenant governor who ran at the top of the ticket for Republicans in a very star-spangled outfit. And she's stopping a heckler, but she just goes, I am speaking. And they kept clipping that into different ad messages, being like, and when she talks about abortion, she says, da, da, da. And they just kept doing that. And it made her look a little unhinged.
Such a good ad.
And it was, I mean, you could not turn on a TV in Virginia in the end of October without hearing that Winsome Sears was speaking. It would just haunt your dreams.
Yes, it
but
would.
Again, the weight of the message, the propensity of it, the time, like the amount of opportunity you had to see that ad, but remember that ad and remember the message of it, because that's just an ad to try and you know this as well. The ads that influence people the most are the negative ads.
Totally. Those
Everybody
are the ones you
hates.
remember.
Yeah.
It also, if the negative ad reinforces something you kind of already believe to be true.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like in California, look, Katie Porter is not a nice person. Most people know she's not. Ads that jam Katie on being not a nice person is like pack a lot more punch than trying to introduce some esoteric hit. Yep. That's why, quite frankly, ads against Paxton are going to resonate because the electorate is aware, partially thanks to John Cornyn, of a lot of his baggage.
Yes, because tens of millions of dollars have been spent running up his negatives, like for the last 2 months.
Or trying it. Now he's about to win by maybe more than 20 points.
Sure.
Like,
that's because the majority of Republican primary voters are
But
morally
this is-
bankrupt
this
and
is-
don't mind a
well,
corrupt
that's not true.
sleazebag.
Not true. Also, this is a Republican favored state. So
For
you guys
now.
might be like running up the negatives on a guy who's still going to outperform what he did previously.
I have a little non-consensus, the perspective on this race.
All right.
So everybody's saying, Paxton can't be the nominee if you're a Republican.
Yeah.
Paxton can't be the nominee because he's going to cost Republicans so much more to
Electability.
defend. It's
Yeah.
not electable, or if it does come back, it's just going to cost a lot more than John Cornyn. But I would also argue this particular matchup nationally is going to get so much attention between Paxton and Talarico. It is going to drain the small dollar Democratic donor nationwide into this pipe dream that this state is going to flip.
This is
which
what
it
I am
probably
saying.
isn't. So as much as it pains me to see Republicans wasting money in Texas where they could be focused on, I would also say Democrats are diluting their small donor power by coming into Talarico. Now, if it works, then it was worth it for them. But it probably won't.
And this is what was in it?
Better O'Rourke,
the
same drill.
The Pod Save America guys who were out there and said, like, don't give your money to Jasmine Crockett because she can't win in the general. So don't, or, maybe it wasn't the pod guys, but it was on one of their interviews or something on like that side of the podcast sphere where they're like, don't give your money to Jasmine Crockett. She's going to be like the hot ticket, low dollar, bombastic one that makes it easy, but she can't win the general. And so they were telling her, like, don't give that money. But now you got Talarico, to your point, who's a very good fundraiser.
You got to speculate to accumulate.
I mean, listen, but he's a very good fundraiser.
Sure.
But again, the Dems aren't raising money nationally.
Right.
Ken Martin in the autopsy.
What autopsy?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking. I've never heard of this autopsy.
I was trying to get the Dem chair to commit to doing a Texas Dem autopsy.
Let's do it.
Autopsy.
Yeah, we need an autopsy. I need a full autopsy.
Grief.
I'm going to demand this autopsy. But like,
Guys are out of control.
but Dems aren't bringing in that money the same way Republicans are, and they want to see a competitive Senate map. Michigan's going to be expensive and tough for them. We're looking at Ohio's going to be tough for Republicans. There's going to be spends there.
Ohio's tough.
North
Maine's
Carolina.
tough. North Carolina,
Maine's always tough. Maine's always tough. But
It's over
Susan
for
Collins,
Susan.
I
She's
don't think
toast.
so.
You know why
Susan
she's
Collins
toast?
is the biggest battle axe in the country.
I think that one of the things that is being overlooked in the Paxton Cornyn primary that I think is true more broadly. I also think it's a generational thing here. I think people are just changing the channel from a lot of the old guard. It's like we saw Al Green tonight lose a Democrat primary to a 38-year-old.
And establishment candidates are hard.
And that's like, and that's why I think Sue Collins is toast in Maine. And I'm speaking as a former Mainer who worked for Olympia Snow. I know those maniacs. I just got to tell
you never count Susan Collins out. She is one of the hardest runners in the country.
She has such unique brand.
She does.
And I would also argue that advertising is not that effective on household names. It's like every maniac has they know Susan Collins.
They do.
They have their opinion.
And they don't like her.
That's not true.
Well, she's prevailed
They don't like her. She's toast.
I don't think that's true. And here's the thing. That woman can get, like, she is a hard worker. She is a hard campaigner. She's a hard fundraiser. That goes a long way. And when Plattner keeps being the issue instead of the solution here, like
that's right. You need to make the race a referendum on her and the establishment.
And he's not able to do that. Yeah. And so he's just right now, the only stories you're hearing about Graham Plattner is what a Nazi tattoo loving weirdo this guy is and how he's got a thing for porta-johns.
You might get Republican votes doing that.
How he might like to do weird things with himself in porta-johns. Like, the dude's a stone cold freak weirdo. Oh, you clearly have not been reading what the news has been saying about this.
I don't read what your news says about
it's not news.
It's news.
It is not news.
It ain't in the Bangor Daily News. It ain't in the Portland Press Herald. It ain't in the Lewis and Sun Journal.
I think it's all.
Susan's going to make sure it's in everybody.
And that's the thing, right? Again, that's another thing. Mail. I mean, good Lord, the amount of money that has to get spent on mail. This is there are so many tools that people don't know exist within the political trade to get the conversation to voters, to persuade them. And mail, people would not think that mail makes sense.
It still does.
It still does.
This peach cobbler is fantastic.
Yeah. Kurt decided to get his wife to bring him dessert as we sit here and work.
I'm working.
The cobbler's excellent here.
You know who did not get dessert?
Because you ate one bite of mac and cheese and said you were full.
Me. Nobody offered me
mac and cheese is excellent.
The mac and cheese is very good. And I am a mac and cheese connoisseur.
This woman got an entire platter full of food.
I couldn't help how much food they put on the plate. I took a bite of each. I like to taste it. I had already eaten a bunch of food today. I'm getting food cheap a lot.
I'm just saying.
I cannot believe you are a Democrat man shaming a woman about the food she eats.
I can't believe you're a Republican woman at a barbecue joint who didn't eat any of the barbecue.
I did. I had a bite of all of it. You didn't.
A bite of all of it.
I did. You saw me.
It's like going to a Philly, getting a Philly cheesesteak and not eating it.
I would have a bite of the cheesesteak.
Your campaign would be over.
Well, you know what I wouldn't do? I probably wouldn't eat a cheesesteak because it's phallic-shaped food.
What did
You're
you just
against
say?
Any
you
phallic-shaped
can't
food?
eat. If you are a candidate, you cannot eat phallic-shaped food.
Oh, as a
I don't want a hot dog. I don't want a corn dog.
Oh, yeah,
you just said your voters will let anything that is.
I mean, that's
food,
true.
You do not eat and you don't wear hats. You don't wear stupid hats. Michael Dukakis.
I agree. You don't wear stupid hats.
You don't wear stupid hats.
Like oversized red hats that say certain phrases, like you look like a moron.
Listen, that man, I can tell you this much. He is the original influencer.
Yeah.
He came up with his own iconic hat. There are few pieces of political memorabilia in the country as noticeable and recognizable as a red MAGA hat.
I have an actual question for you.
He thought of them, he made them, and he wore them, and he sold them. The original influencer. I'm going to piggyback
on that. I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
In the world that we live in today, the way that social media works and the way that...
What world do we live in today?
The Twilight Zone. Would Sarah Palin actually work now versus in 2008-9?
No, because it doesn't change the quality of the candidate.
Okay, so you think quality candidate?
I still think she would run into all of the same issues she ran into. I think she would still get jammed up by the news. You remember the Katie Couric interview?
Right,
what
Katie
do you
Couric
read?
It doesn't exist today.
But that wouldn't be much harder to find in a podcasting format, or even in like The View. Look at The View with Kamala Harris. That was a friendly interview, and they asked her, "How can you differentiate yourself from Joe Biden?" She couldn't come up with it.
But if you're Sarah Palin, you're not going on The View.
No, but
you're going on The Five.
That's what I'm saying, though. Right? She would be going on a similar formatted interview, and when she was asked, "What do you read for news?" she couldn't think about it. Like I'm saying, like
she went on Joe Rogan or something.
Yeah, I mean, like
you would be like, "Oh, it's even a friendly format."
And she would. That's the point I'm making.
She's a flawed candidate.
That's it. Yeah, she's just not a good politician in that way, and so I think it wouldn't change anything. But I can listen. The Tea Party of 2008 is the MAGA base.
Is the godfather of the
MAGA base now.
100%.
100%. We are not here if it wasn't for the Tea Party, the Ron Johnson victory in 2010 over Russ Feingold, an 18-year incumbent. I mean,
Jason Chaffetz's taken out a longtime Republican in Utah.
I mean, those days are very different, but that base remains the Republican base.
Okay.
So I don't think she would necessarily do better because she also wasn't like a base darling. She was kind of an unknown.
So you know what's interesting about these Texas statewide races, juxtaposed to an Iowa race, Nebraska race, is the power of retail politicking isn't as useful in a state of this size.
Yeah.
Getting back to the money. I mean, it's really about controlling the media markets, driving your message. And retailing is obviously great, but it's hard. It's like California.
You're not going to do as many bus tours out here.
It's really difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult. And so money matters more in a race like this. I would argue actually your husband matters more in a race like this. And here's why. So Kerr, you know, so her husband does something called micro targeting, which is essentially finding through granular, now I use AI and big data
and things
but
like
basically it's going on a voter by voter level and finding out what messages custom tailored to them persuade them and hitting them over and over and over and over. And using those tools and a lot of money to get the messaging out is incredibly powerful in a state like this.
Yeah. And that's, I think, to your point, like in an Iowa, you're going to be on bus tours. You're going to be everywhere. You're going to be 99 counties. You're going to be shaking hands.
That's right.
But here, you're going to do state fair. You would
right.
roll. I would roll a bus up to state
right.
fair.
I'd be going to the Houston rodeo.
I'd be doing rodeo. I'd be doing specific large scale events that I could.
But it's hard to shake it outside of that.
Yeah.
It's hard to shake everybody's hand in town.
You're not doing like, unless you need to really saturate a media market.
Yeah.
I would not be doing a bus tour in Texas unless I need to like double down in one place and get more earned media. And the best way to do it is be like, I got a 3-day bus tour here because it's an easy earned media play.
Yeah. Now let me ask you.
You invite all your locals and you get the coverage.
I'm glad we have JT because, as I mentioned, you know, we are Californians initially, and we have a week from today.
Kurt was born in New York. He just likes to rewrite his history and lie to people. Anyways, you were saying.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Rochester, New York.
I know you as a Californian.
Yes, most people know me as a Californian.
I know him as not good with the truth.
We want to see my birth certificate next.
Long form.
Anywho, in 7 days we have the California primary.
Yes.
You know, we have obviously.
Were you a Lauren Conrad fan or a Heidi Montag fan?
Lauren Conrad.
Yeah. All right.
Agreed.
See, we're all ready for Spencer Pratt.
What do you make of the rise of Spencer Pratt?
Yeah.
And overall, what do you think this looks like? Because it's going to be him versus Karen Bass in the town.
Sure.
So what's your take on the mayor's race?
Well, look, kudos for Spencer for kind of rising to the occasion, using non-traditional techniques to do it. I think he's more of a symptom of an anger in LA City. I don't know that he's necessarily the best candidate I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But it really speaks. Look, if you look at Karen Bass's polling numbers, she's deeply underwater. She is not popular. Voters are longing for someone else. And I think that kind of explains Spencer's rise. Now, the problem is, I'm not sure in a runoff that the Democrats are going to take off their jerseys.
That's exactly
long enough to consider Spencer Pratt.
I do think the R next to his name is the biggest obstacle because Rick Caruso ran as an independent and got what? He lost by 10 points?
Well, Caruso actually ran this. He ran as a Democrat. He was a Republican.
That's right.
Then he went independent. The problem is nobody believed Rick was a Democrat, and that was the tough thing. But look, Karen's probably going to win this thing again because of
it's LA,
the Jersey thing. But but the fact that we're even talking about Spencer Pratt to me speaks to me how dysfunctional Karen Bass has been as a mayor. And by the way, how pathetic California is that they don't have better Democrats to run against Karen Bass or for governor, quite frankly.
Well, let me ask the flip side of that. Did Republicans here miss an opportunity by not running someone more credible, perhaps, than Spencer Pratt?
So that's the thing, though. I don't know that another candidate would have worked in the same way because it's not that like
because Karen Bass her ratings are abysmal.
But here's the thing: think if it had been Rick Caruso this cycle, right? A very kind of even if he had run as a Republican, let's say he decided to run as a Republican this time, a businessman, very middle of the road, during the fires, had his own private fire department essentially to keep his businesses and the businesses that were on his properties safe. You know, like very wealthy individual, done very well for himself. I don't think that would change, like that he would somehow do better. What's working for Spencer is Spencer's message, and he's good at the attention culture.
Well, and his message is authentic because everybody knows his house burned down.
Yeah.
So it like they empathize with him. They're like, this guy is not just trying to buy an office.
Yeah, he's not just running because he wants to be mayor. It's not like his
scorned. He's pissed off.
Yeah,
and
he's a
it's true
community
in our-
activist.
Right. I just don't think that
Yeah.
your house burnt down, therefore you get to be mayor of Los Angeles. Is like that doesn't make you qualified to be the mayor of LA because your house.
Well,
burnt down.
listen, I don't think that any of Karen Bass's background
Yeah,
made
I'm
her
not
very
really
qualified for mayor
I would say
either.
it disqualified.
Yeah,
her from
I
mayor.
mean, listen. So she was an elected official and still left the reservoirs empty. She was an elected official previously, and that background made sure that she hasn't been able to get the permitting done so people can rebuild
Listen,
on
I
that
think
property.
two things
So
can
it
be true at
seems
the same
like
time.
being
I
a
think that you
credible.
could be a terrible mayor, but also again don't think that your house burnt down and therefore you should be the mayor. I think
don't-
both can be true at the same time.
You know, I don't buy the argument that somehow you need to have like political and government experience to be good at the government.
I think it helps.
You've been in the government.
Yeah.
It's dysfunctional. It doesn't matter
I'd be
how much
great- I'd be
expertise
great
you
at
have
running
in
the
it.
government because I know how bad it is.
You would not be great at running the
I'd
government
be the
because
best.
bureaucracy
I'd be
is a
great.
nasty cancer.
I know
think
because I worked in government, I know how to navigate the bureaucracy successfully.
The
Vote
only-
for me.
Like sometimes you do a protest vote. You just go, look, it couldn't get any worse. And I think there's
But it always can get worse,
Well,
as America has
I'm
found
not-
out with Trump and Trump 2.0. It absolutely can
The
get
thing, the
worse.
thing about Spencer Pratt is it's political lightning in a bottle. It's an opportunity to see if someone can actually make a run at it. Because listen, Karen Bass, she's shown that she's not a good candidate. She's shown that she is very fallible against him, especially in that debate. I mean,
Okay.
there's
I don't disagree with you there. I don't
political
disagree with you
lightning
there.
in a bottle is real. It can happen. It is just really, really hard to do.
JT, does it help or hurt Spencer's chances in general that a lot of the MAGA verses seem to wrap their arms around him? Donald Trump likes him. Is that
I
gonna?
don't think it matters.
Yeah, I mean, Karen was gonna define him as a right winger anyway, so I'm not sure it really matters, to be honest with
I
you.
think
he's-
Spencer's voice on that is so important though, because he always says like, "I'm already winning Democrats if I'm doing this well in the polling. There aren't Republicans in LA."
well, and that is the problem. I mean, literally, there are so few Republicans in that city, which is why a credible Republican like a Cruz wouldn't step up because they go, the math just isn't there.
Yeah, I think like Kamala won like LA 75-25
I
or
think
something like
Trump's
that.
approval is like 20%
Yeah,
in the
like,
city or something.
it's-
Like it's a tough place to be.
Yeah.
All right, what do you think about the governor's race, which has been on the Democrat side like a crazy
Oh, yeah,
cycle that we
correct.
have seen?
Eric Swalwell
Yeah,
stinks.
wow. I mean,
Get it?
if you would have told me, oh
'Cause
my
he
God,
farted on
yes,
camera
it's
once
your
next to
favorite thing
Kevin
bring up.
McCarthy.
Jesus Christ,
Farted on air.
You love that.
Gross man.
Okay,
He denies
he's
that.
the-
He denies that.
Listen, the
he denies
audio's
a lot
there.
of things.
He
He
denies
denies a lot of things right now. But
That's right.
but it looks
That's
like
the
we're
least
gonna
of his
have.
problems.
Yeah, that's yeah.
It looks like Becerra's gonna be the top Dem, and obviously he'll be the top Republican. What's your take on the governor's race? Just 50,000 foot
Okay.
level.
First, I think I'm just disappointed by the Democratic Party. They couldn't get some kind of rock star to run.
Kind of shocking, right?
In a
Biggest
state
state
as
in the
blue,
union,
with
fourth
so
economy,
many
yeah.
Democratic elected officials, this is what you've got. So I think Swalwell was never a star. He was more of a placeholder and protected the establishment from people like Katie Porter and Tom Steyer.
Well, I
And-
mean, Katie mashed potatoes Porter.
That's right.
Katie warm mashed
I
potatoes.
will
Get
say,
out of the shot. Get out of the shot.
Ozempic has done her wonders.
Listen, it can
You
help
know?
a sister out,
It has.
but it doesn't help her
It
personality.
does not.
Because even during that debate, they were like, well, you know, your personality. And she's like, yeah, but these boys have been squabbling the whole time. And they're like, you've been doing that too. And she's like, oh, buck up, cowboy.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is wrong with you, woman?
That's true. Yeah, she can't escape that. The other is, this is a lesson that money is important, but not everything. Tom Steyer, again, has spent, what's he
How much
cranking on?
money can you spend to get your ass whipped?
I mean,
this is
coming
embarrassing,
on
man.
200 million.
dollars.
200 million. This is one of those points where the ads not only have diminishing return, they end up reinforcing your core negative, which is you're a billionaire and you don't understand people like me. So every time he rolls an ad, people are like, yeah, isn't he the rich guy?
Authenticity again,
Yeah.
right? Like he can say all the time, I'm the Democrat or I'm the billionaire who would tax billionaires. Yeah, no one believes that.
No.
Well,
Everybody-
then you're running the wrong party. It's like of all the times right now at this moment in time to run as in a Democrat primary as a self-funding billionaire, this is not the time
Totally
to
right.
happen.
No,
Go
you're
Bills! Go Bills! Thank you guys. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Go Bills with this up here. This is it.
New
Super Bowl.
stadium, new
Super
stadium,
Bowl this
Super
year.
Bowl all the way.
You know,
Let's go.
This to me with Steyer is actually where he thinks all I need to do is create name recognition. I can buy that. It's like, no, actually, you need name ID, of course,
Yeah.
but you got to have a core identity that is not antithetical to your base.
Yes.
I mean, this is the problem.
That's exactly right. And that's the thing, right? You can buy name ID. And that's a lot of, when we were talking about name ID, when you're looking ahead at 2028,
Sure.
why Kamala is doing so well in these polls.
Sure.
I don't necessarily think that any Democrats like, yes, Kamala, let's ride that horse.
But
into
they know her
victory.
name.
But they know her name. And that's
Sure.
what you're seeing in the polling right now for her. But they also know, like, oh, that's a Democrat, Kamala. Yeah, okay.
Totally right.
I could vote for her now versus Tom Steyer, where they're like, you're a Democrat who hates yourself. Like, I feel lost for you.
Self-loathing Democrats.
Yeah, like the conflict
Yeah,
of being
it's
Tom
when
Steyer.
when Steyer keeps saying, yeah, we need less billionaires. I'm like, well, nobody's stopping you from donating all your money.
Yeah, listen, Tom.
What's going on here?
Tom, we'll make a deal with you. You don't want to be a billionaire. We feel you on that.
We'll help solve that for
A few $100 million each direct.
I will gladly be the recipient
I
of the
got
Tom
you
Steyer
covered.
doesn't want to be a
I will
billionaire
be
fund.
part of the Tom Steyer
I will take the
scholarship
bullet
fund.
and gladly accept all grants funding
Okay,
at your
now the
disposal.
only wild card left in this California race looks like it. I mean, maybe Steyer squeaks there, but it doesn't look like it.
Don't think so.
Let's say it's Becerra and Hilton.
Yeah.
This is Becerra in a walk next round, unless something related to a prosecution snarls Becerra in a scandal. Look, the Democrats didn't fully vet Swalwell. There seems
Now
to
you're
be
singing
some,
the Katie Porter tune here.
Well, look, it is a valid concern.
I will say
It is a valid
it is
concern.
not a valid concern, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because
I'm a Democrat and I'm a bully.
the prosecutors of this, the DOJ, by the way, so this isn't a partisan thing, have already cleared Becerra of having any knowledge of this whole thing completely, period, end of story.
Well, you never know where prosecutions may go. And
The other
they've
point
already
is,
cleared them.
the other point is,
It's
but here's
nowhere to
the
go.
thing, and we all know this because we all done campaigns. The crucible and the heat of a high-profile race exposes things you never thought were possible.
I agree with that.
Swalwell was
I
a
agree
member
with
of Congress
Yeah.
for
He
how
was on
many
the Intel
terms?
committee.
In the skiffs, and yet here we are.
And people knew that he had a relationship with a Chinese spy, Fang Fang. Like, we already
didn't know
knew
that.
things about Eric
He wasn't
Swalwell.
married at the time, for the record. I think.
No,
I'm
that's
just
right.
saying.
Yes. No, we
Contextually.
weren't. I'm sorry.
I
We
don't wanna
weren't
get
worried. We
sued.
weren't worried that he was
Erin.
cheating on his wife with the Chinese spy. We were worried about the relationship with the Chinese spy
Let's
in
get it
general.
clear.
Like,
To be
sorry,
clear, this
to be-
Chinese spy
to be
targeted Democrats and
completely clear.
Republicans as well.
Eric Swalwell had a pretty Chinese girl hit on him and was like, that girl might actually like me. He is a target for anybody.
This is a legitimate
He is
situation.
the type of man who goes to a strip club and it was like, that stripper, she really likes me.
Probably right.
That's the Democrat in
Probably right.
California. That's the
Yeah.
most they got. You know I was good.
I will say this: if your logic is true, which I don't doubt, like campaigns bring up things you never thought imaginable.
Oppo
There could be
research.
then isn't that true for Ken Paxton?
I think
I think pretty much everything's
I
come
don't
out
know
of
how
that.
many left in that
I've
chamber.
heard there's more.
Of
I've heard
course you
there's
have.
more.
You're a Democrat. They're
No,
going to
no, no.
try and say that.
No.
You think that John Cornyn would have
Brian
held anything
Kilmeade,
back?
That's probably the
Brian
best
Kilmeade has said that
Right,
there is
but
more.
he was saying that because
And,
he's
and,
on
and
the
I
corner
will
saying-
say,
No, I really
No, let me
think you
finish,
think
let me
that
finish, let
Cornyn
me
wouldn't have
finish,
done that.
let
Come
me
on.
finish. The flaw that I find with that argument is I would have said the same thing about Eric Swalwell when he was leading impeachment on Donald Trump, that with Republicans and the Oppo research and Donald Trump's apparatus have found dirt on Swalwell and gotten it out there.
So I will say that's slightly different because that's sexual harassment and sexual assault, and women coming forward about what happened to them or what they allege happened to them versus Swalwell is a different circumstance here versus like I don't think that in this bloody bruising primary we have seen where Swalwell hasn't had really an opposition force against him up until this gubernatorial primary, and as soon as he did, all of a sudden that information
I
comes
think
out,
that's the answer. Is like his first intense test.
and he failed immediately.
Look, Paxton's been through it. I also would argue all of like this is such a crass operative thing of me to say. Like there's a diminishing return in negative hits on Paxton.
Right.
He has been through it. The voters, not just Republicans, but the voters have been well aware, thanks to John Cornyn and the Republicans in the state legislature, of Paxton's problem. So think about this, airing one more ad with doomy music. Like, is that going to shock the consciousness
I mean,
of the electorate?
didn't you see the ad that they did, the biblical one?
Yeah.
Thou shalt.
Not
That ad was pretty intense.
I'm just
And
going
like
to say
there's
that,
just not much left.
I'm going to say this about that. He is going through what is going to be a very ugly divorce. and all kinds of shit comes out when you're going through the colonoscopy that is a high conflict divorce. So you just all I'm saying is would
where
not
there's a
shock
will,
me.
there's a way,
Sure,
right? I get
sure.
what you're saying.
That's all I'm saying.
I would also say though, Talarico's going to have a problem because voters hate hypocrites. They hate when you position as a man of the faith, the most decent, honest person.
Also, you would know his girlfriend because she doesn't go to school here. You haven't met. Did you see that interview about his girlfriend? He's like, yeah, I am dating someone. Yes, she's the love of my life. She's a rock. She's my rock. And like, doesn't say her name. Doesn't talk about how they met at all. It's like, yeah, you don't know my girlfriend. She doesn't go to school here. Sorry, anyways,
why he wouldn't want to drag his girlfriend's name into
I'm
politics.
just saying, if it's true that he's hypocritical on his core identity, if that's true, voters get so mad about it.
They do.
It's like if you run as the family values candidate, turns out you've got shiny shoes underneath. That's a problem.
It's why like people get so annoyed when like you have a Republican who's anti-gay, but it turns out it's like sending DMs to dudes.
Sure,
like
it's not
the
good.
hypocrisy. I totally agree. If Talarico is something that he is, not like that would be you cannot, if you're a James Talarico, afford to have one of your first impressions with voters because he's still just introducing himself to the electorate be a hypocrisy.
Yeah.
You'll never get over it.
And that's the definition. Right now, if I am the Paxton team and I'm not sharing any insider information, haven't talked to my husband, he's on the super PAC side anyway. So
it's true. She actually hasn't talked to her husband. I can verify this.
I miss it. But they're getting their ads ready now.
Sure.
To launch immediately at Talarico.
Like 12:01.
Yeah, like
I expect to see
got
them carpet bombing the way.
Right now it's about making sure they've got money to run ads and cut the creative on it, but like they are setting up that general election message, and Talarico's going to be doing the same thing.
He better be, or if he's not listening to Carville's. I agree with Carville here. Paxton is going to unleash the wrath of God on you. They're going to carpet bomb you with negative ads right up front. You better be ready to punch back. And if I were Talarico, I'd punch first.
Yeah, well,
I really would.
I'll be interested to see what he takes as his first.
I'd rather go down brawling and get my swings in than trying to take this mythical higher. This thing drives me nuts about Democrats when they say when they go low, we go high. You know what? When you go high, they kick you in the balls. Like, figure it the fuck out already. Good God.
I'm still trying to find these races where Democrats go high.
Yeah, I have yet
They're
to
always
see
calling
that.
me a racist. I can't see.
Also, the kicking of people, the violence that Democrats are talking about right now. I mean, Kurt, kicking people, the violence has to stop.
I'm a WWE fan, so, I think you should be taking steel chairs and hitting people with them.
Well, that is some politics.
The other thing is Talarico has not been through the same level of electoral test that Paxton has. So that's a bit of a wild card here.
We don't know. He'll either meet the moment or
You're totally right.
Campaigns are not easy. Being a candidate is not easy. And going through winning in politics is hard. Winning in politics in general is harder.
Yes.
And going through those first pressure tests,
yes.
those first real moments where you get your first negative ad, you get your first bad story, you get that first long form oppo piece. And I don't care. Even if you've run for like state office before, when you're doing it at a bigger level, candidates tend to not handle it well.
Animal.
And this is like these pressure points are going to come hard and fast at him. And then it's the dog days of summer at him. Like he is going to, like, it is I don't know. Like you get a lot of flavor for candidates on how they handle those first tests. Cause usually they get a little unhappy very quickly.
Yeah. The candidates I've always seen that are the best are the ones that kind of treat it like a game in their brain. They know it's serious, but they don't take it internally that seriously.
Agreed.
Because there are plenty of them who will be like, gotta chat soon.
So unfair.
It's like the the candidates who feel like having the yard sign up is going to actually matter.
You were just talking about
yard signs don't work.
Do you remember the old cartoon video, like the cartoon web video that was like little bears and they're like, I'm here for yard signs. Did you know before the campaign made yard signs, I made my own? Do you know yard signs can vote in some counties? This is exactly what it's like with volunteers on campaigns. I don't want to make calls. I don't want to knock doors. Yard sign.
On every campaign I've ever been on, I've always said, put a yard sign up against your opponents near their office, near their house,
their driving path. Anyone's going to see it.
Just 5 yard signs. It'll drive them nuts.
Yeah, you honestly just know people's driving paths and put the yard signs up, or they want to see their own. Earlier, when we started this earlier tonight, he said, "Oh yeah, well, I'm seeing Talarico signs in my neighborhood, and I'm like, oh, I was gonna make the yard signs can vote joke.
You don't see it very often in Texas, friggin'
But then
Democrat
10
yard
seconds ago, he
signs
was
where I
making fun
live.
of yard
I'm just
signs.
saying, I'm seeing it and I didn't see it before. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Well, there you go. It's
On
the
the ground.
election's over.
It's
I've
over.
seen some yard signs.
All right,
you.
what's everybody's let's finish this out. Predictions. What is your prediction for any race in the general election? What's your and one Texas prediction?
Well, I'd say Paxton pulls it out tonight. I don't think it's close. I think he wins in a landslide.
Over or under 20?
Oh, under 20, but
Okay.
but over 10.
Okay.
See, I have the over 20.
Over 20.
I think that's what Trump's endorsement does. I think Trump's endorsement takes it from a 10 to
Juices that
15
up.
point victory to a 20 to 23.
you might
point
be
victory.
right. You might be right.
And what's your national prediction for this cycle?
Republicans lose the House. Might be slightly tighter than you think. Hold the Senate.
Okay. Kurt, what is your Texas prediction and your national prediction?
I believe that Talarico is going to shock the country, and it will be an extinction level event for the Republican Party.
I hope you're betting on this. I want you to lose a lot of money.
Kurt is high as a kite.
I don't get high on my own supply.
Sounds like he's high.
But I think that Talarico is going to win, and I think that Democrats are going to take back the Senate and the House. I think it's going to be an absolute bloodbath for Republicans. And I'm not saying that as a partisan. I'm just saying that's what I honestly God think is going to happen. I look at where we're at right now, a historically unpopular president, an economy that is not doing great, a president who has broken many promises, the Latino vote abandoning Republicans that went that way in 24 in like huge measures all across this country. Enthusiasm will be down. I just think that as historically we have seen in an off-year election where Trump isn't on the ballot, that just spells disaster for Republicans.
Okay. My Texas prediction is going to be that Paxton's going to win in the general, and I'm going to put it at he wins by more than 7. That's going to be more than
Decisively.
7. More than
Okay.
7. I'm going to say he's going to win by more than 7. And my national prediction is going to be that Dems will win the House by only a seat or 2. And when you talk about enthusiasm, I think that the America 250 summer we're about to have is going to actually help gin up Republican enthusiasm going into the general. We've got the UFC
cage fight.
We've got the
Speaking of
UFC fight.
violence.
We've got FIFA 2026 right now.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of Americana that is going to be just like injected into this country all summer long as we celebrate America 250. If Republicans are smart, they tap into that and they can use that to help keep the base
I love
motivated.
I
going
love
into
that
the-
take. I also think Trump's going to close strong. I think
Yeah.
he's going to wrap up this Iran war. And let's not underestimate the Democrats' ability to screw it up.
That's right. I love that.
Republicans are the biggest people who get in their own way. Both parties are guilty of this.
They both
frankly.
do that, but I
They
think
are
the
both
Democrats
capable of
do
screwing
it
it up.
worse.
Okay, let's not kid ourselves.
So we think that's it tonight?
I think that's it for tonight. We'll be back. Party Lines podcast
Party-
on Friday.
Friday, yes.
and-
Friday this
and-
week. I can't do Thursday.
Sure. We'll
Okay,
figure it
we'll
out.
figure it
I don't
out.
know.
Thanks for
Sorry.
having me, guys.
Thank you for
JJ,
joining
thanks for joining
us.
us. Thanks for the chairman.